Hello everyone, I'm back. Today we're going to do another how to draw Pokemon's draw along video. This time I wanted to make it a step-by-step format. So today we start off with the sketch. Usually the first time you actually get to see what you were planning on drawing. I always like to use a different colored background just so it pops a little bit. Because even though you might normally sketch with charcoal or a pencil on paper, if you start drawing digitally, you could potentially also just sketch in white. I don't know why you would do it, but you can. So there's probably someone out there doing it. I decided to go for a pose where he is facing slightly downward, looking a little bit menacing, and showing us sheer determination he has. And actually I was just trying to combine everything I have tried to do up to this point into this Charizard drawing. I don't really know why, but it felt like it was a monumental occasion. I was like, well, the Pokemon company likes Charizard, right? They always think it's everyone's favorite Pokemon, so might as well give it my all. So I ended up doing that, which was awesome, and I'm still very happy that I actually pulled through with it. So now we're doing his arms. I have the same mistake. I have this one reason why it keeps happening, but this is not the type of excuses. I made his arms too long. He looks like he could almost reach the ground, which is not supposed to happen. He should look like he's kind of a T-Rex dragon guy who's not gonna be a dragon. Well, that's besides the point. So then I decided to do his wings. You should look at the first way of doing it I decided to use, which was not pretty at all. No, I did not like that. I also felt like if you were to draw along, how would I explain me using two sketch layers? I would say if you start off using a very hard pencil, like a H2 or a free H, something like that, then you can later go in using a mechanical pencil. You start off with normal pencil, then you use a mechanical pencil, and then you make sure that's a HB or a B3. You can then make sure the lines that you want to accentuate are also sharper than what you usually get with normal pencil. I feel like that's the closest you can get to how I like to sketch in the BlackWisp.Studio app. I also decided on instantly doing a cool pose for his tail instead of really thinking about it. You can even see the guidelines I used. It's just a circle to really try to find what the total circumference would be at the base. I feel like if you draw something where the base of the tail would make sense. You know, you have those big cat tails, right? Like a teeny tiny tail, but it comes both legs and the lower back. And so it makes sense that for a tiger it has like a tail with a circumference of like 10 centimeters at the base and quickly gets slightly smaller. Well, for Charizard, I don't understand why he looks to be having a tail with a circumference of at least 30 or 40 centimeters, and it gets slanted. And then he's like, yeah, let's put fire on it. Did you watch the episode in the anime with Charmander that was left alone by TV trainer? I always liked that one. But that did make me very scared about how they live their life. Because if you getting sick as soon as your tail fire starts weakening. That's not good at all. You know there's normal type Pokemon that swim. There's bound to be fire type Pokemon that can go in water. But just knowing that as soon as a flame on your tail stops working, you will most likely die. That's a different headspace. And here you can see that I am starting to use my second sketch layer. What is second sketch? Well, it's pretty easy to see actually. You're supposed to use both of them at the same time, because on paper you can't turn off layers. But I like to use it like a separate dividing thingy, just so I know which parts need to be accentuated, which makes the whole drawing turn out slightly better, I presume. You can clearly see that on the one arm I decided to loosely place the lines, and on the other arm I completely put all the lines on there. Because the difference is, if you want to make sure you know what to ink, sometimes it's best to just sketch it until you've at least gotten familiar with inking that one thing you were doing. I always sketch, and then I clean up my sketch. And if you feel like doing that, that's completely fine. You don't have to clean up your sketch. You can do like manga artists, where you just slightly show what you are planning on doing. You don't have to actually show what you're gonna do. Inking, that's my favorite part. So here I head on in with a brush that's slightly on the bigger side. That does give me a little more volume. Would ask me how I would ink this in real life on paper, I would say get some Staedtlers or Copic multiliners and just start off with a 3 or 4. I like a 2, but a 2 is very bland. Doesn't give you enough changes in the weight of your lines, the line weight. I don't know why I said it, but that's weird. Okay, but I think also that a 5 is too big for most things. So if you were to simply draw this using a 0.3 millimeter nib pen, fine liner, multi-liner, then you would usually get quite a good result. And you could even go back in, either using the same pen or using a 5. I would also make sure you don't make the same mistake I did, where you were like, yeah, but I cannot see his his triceps, so I might as well draw them. That's weird. Why do I care about the triceps, but then I do forget the tiny bulge on the side of his hand? I should have also put that there if I was being such a Puritan, which I'm not, but I don't know why. I still decided on doing it. I also feel like it's underneath, it's under legs. What do you call those? If it's arms, it's forearms. Is it 4 legs? And I did acknowledge that better kept hidden. I might end up knowing what it is. Like the timeline can handle that. So here we go in on the nails. Do you guys like the heavy shaded nail shadow thingy? And I like those, but I never really know what people like to see. And I like that it gives it a little more dimension. Also clearly shows that it's a round object. That's pretty nice to know. Yeah, here I go again, where I made his leg to anatomically correct. Well, I was like, okay, so that's how the knee is connected. So if he's slightly touching down, pressing on his right leg, and you would see that, and then it would go into his upper leg. And here again, I'm like, oh yeah, but tricep, yeah, bicep, and it needs to go into the socket with the shoulder blade. Yeah, and if you would do it like that, I don't think he has shoulder parts. So, once again, I went all out, doing all kinds of stuff that maybe I shouldn't have done. But I do think that gives it something special. It's not just that one dude we all love, but we all hate, but we all love. But you know what I mean? Now it's like, oh, why did he do that? And I can just say, it was an accident. And you will probably never think about it ever again after seeing the video. And once again, I was also like, why does he have 3 knobs on his wings? I understand now that he needs them on his head. Maybe it's for flying at night. They produce work like a beacon for his echolocator. I honestly don't know what the knobs are for. Not on his head, nor on his wings. But it is a very strong design aspect of Charizard. There we go. Done with the second wing. Erase it. Doesn't work. Or you would be using LineArt. Or I'm trying to feedback. Using my start calling product by the most popular brand name for it. But it doesn't work as well as I wanted it to. I feel almost like you should use gouache. If you wanted to ink like that, yeah, just put white gouache on. Or like acrylic paint, just normal acrylic, not even gouache. Just so it dries quicker. And you can just dry brush it on it. Let me know in the comments below if you like this flyer. I put a lot of thought into it. And I also just tried to make it as simple as possible. So I was like, okay, so it starts on the right and then it goes to the left, through the back, and then it attaches to the top. That way I can segment it in a certain way that makes it pop, but it also doesn't make it too saturated in terms of lines showing in the fire. That's the good thing. I should have just done, but that's besides the point. It's time for step 3. I don't know why it's step 3 instead of step 3 and then later 4, but it's time for the coloring. As you can see between the shoulder blades, I forgot about the details. So I patched it up. We got into color picking from thicker to light because that's the easiest way to color. In real life I always use Copic or the Shotun wingtip markers. It works. Copics are definitely better. They just bleed. I just need to make sure I get paper that's thick enough and somebody gets you. We've all been there. Somebody gets you a notepad and you're like, yeah, I'll use it. And then it's like, oh, this one is the one with thicker paper. And then you get 80 or like 100 grams per square meter paper. So you're like, but isn't 60 or 70 printer paper. Why did you give me 80 or like 100? That's still, I can't do anything with it. The only thing I can do with this is sketch. And then you're like, oh, Robert, might as well use it to sketch. And then you sketch, and then you're like, oh, I love this one. And now you can't process it completely. I hate it when that happens. So today I went for a pretty clear cell-shaded shading method. I know you guys really care about what shading method I use, but I thought it was pretty important to also state it, because if I make this one a very saturated drawing where I also blurred the edges of the shading, I feel like he would just start looking weird. Like, not uncanny, because I definitely did not draw realistic, but just dirty. It would just look dirty. I feel like it's important that you know when you are about to make a muddy coloring job. Just know it. Just know it. I'm also not too shy to tell you that. At the end, you will see that I also accidentally committed a muddy coloring job. But I fixed it in post. Doesn't matter if you fix it in post. It was still visible to the whole world. Yeah, here I chose to do it slightly different. I could have grabbed the dark orange on the thing, from the picture on the right, but I like his fire to be red. I don't like it to be red. It's red and yellow, not orange, ochre, dark yellow, and super pale yellow. Because I wanted it to feel like it's so warm, but it's also so cold, but it's also so violent that he should always be shaded by his film. Don't you think that's a weird thing? Where you're like, oh yeah, this is a fire Pokemon, and he clearly has fire on it, and then fire doesn't impact it. Yeah, it's lighting. That's weird, right? Like if you have a piece of fire on your tail, you should always see that you were illuminated from the back. I feel like if you did it like that, then suddenly the love Pokemon would look very creepy, because you're like, oh, why does he have creepy love? Well, I feel like if you saw Flareon, it would just be very light at the edges, and then the rest of the face would be dark. Blaziken. You saw Blaziken from far away, and he had his fire thingies on. I don't know why they still do it. Why did they stop doing that? The fire was something they could turn off and turn on. That was awesome. Same with the whole Cyndaquil line. I do feel like most of them look better with fire on. But still. Because I like getting that definition in there. Sometimes when I start with it, it's just that, and then I just go through the passage with the colors. That also works like a treat. Here we go. Here I decided to use the dark ochre. It wasn't in there. I was like, I need ochre. I want it to pop. Give me the high contrast. Give it to me. And so I decided to add some patches with the contrast in between the yellow and the red was even higher. So I can then later top it off when I decide to use my highlight. I'm already very happy with what I'm doing right now. But then I decided I'm gonna do something I haven't done yet. So I added one light. It's just yellow, which I decided to desaturate a little bit. And then I just blurred it onto places which would be heavily illuminated by the flame on the tip of his tail. I thought, if I do it like that, well, I might be able to get away with it. And then I was starting to get very goofy. So I called the last shadow SuperShadow. Well, you know, very goofy. I'm goofy like that. And in pose, I lowered the saturation. I forgot to do it in the video. I'm like, oh, this sucks. I should have done it in the video. What does it matter? Tomorrow I'll just be doing squirrel. We will see how it goes. I did really like how it made him pop. I'm like, yeah, do that. Do the add the warm light, then add a super shadow. I don't know why I accentuated most subgroups there. I'm sorry. And then afterwards, we will do the highlight. I'm like, yeah, let's do a highlight. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And so I did. I feel like this was the part where I started to lose my mind. It was like, shadow. I'm like, yeah, there too. And there? Yeah, definitely needed there too. Ooh, I forgot it. Oh, yeah, on this side. Awesome. Woo! Did I just do that? Yes, I did. And I was like, it also needs to be fabulous. So I ended up yesifying this Charizard, the last state. Here we go, highlights. Add them. You're not gonna add a lot anyway. I do really like the streaks in front. Works very well. Knowledge, what they're supposed to be called. And there we go. We got the last bit of shading. And we are done. Please like and subscribe to see the whole series. I'm going to be doing each and every one in the national decks. So I will see you around. Bye-bye.